Hello, fans, followers. I'm coming back to YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. I'll be showcasing a few different games in quick review, about 5 minutes each. I want to thank you all for joining me from Facebook. If you're new to my channel, thank you for supporting our Stand Up to Cancer cause that brought you here by my link. I do play a lot of games. First one I'm going to introduce will be a quick run through, about 5 minutes, in World of Warships Legends. Been playing this game for a couple years now. I'll be showing recent playthrough though. World of Warships, for anybody not familiar, you take on other ships as a battleship, cruiser, or destroyer. You can also choose a carrier, which I'm currently playing in the current playthrough. Carriers, kind of mixed feelings. A lot of people think it broke the game. A lot of people like carriers. I actually like carriers. It's not the only one I prefer. I try to touch up on all 4 ship classes, a little bit of each. With the carriers, you can choose torpedo bombers, which I'm using right now. You can see me line it up, dropping torpedoes now. Ishmael's almost pretty much done, so it'll be destroyed. You can also choose HE bombers, which are good to start fires. So you can use either for destroying ships. I've got a battleship here. This is one of the top premier battleships. I worked my way a year and a half of gameplay to get to the Yamato, and I played like crap with it, but I've only had it about 4 or 5 months, so I'm kind of getting used to it. Battleships are impressive in their size and destructive power, but they are slow and crap to reload. And of course I didn't aim very well there. I hit most of those shells on that mountain. I wasn't playing very well on that particular playthrough. I'm on the Yamato a lot. I don't show all my greats. I also show my negatives too, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Here I'm just trying to maneuver around the mountain, which another thing, the setback with these battleships, they're huge and slow and cumbersome. They don't maneuver very well. With most ship types, you can choose armor piercing, which I currently have selected. They're more destructive, but they can overpin, and there's a chance that they can bounce off and ricochet. Another shell type with yellow, it's the HE or heat, high explosive. They start fires. I think I'll be using that a lot with this ship that I just changed to. King George V, UK battleship. I do like the high explosive shells on this particular ship. You get a high rating of setting fires, so you set a lot of fires, and if you destroy a ship with a fire that was your fire, then you get credit for destroying it. There is a whole lot of ships in this game. I've got probably 20 ships, or at least, if not more. Plenty of battleships as well as cruisers and destroyers. Most of my ships are American, but I have started venturing off and I play ships of other nations now. I've got a lot of Japanese ships, I've got a few UK ships, I've got a few German ships, and I've got a few other ships, I believe Italian and Roman. Actually, I believe they're the same. It's hard to remember all the ships I have. I should have showed my ship research tree on this game, but I didn't. So we're back to the Yamato again, just showing one more battle I had. One reason why they are really good with those AP shells is when they penetrate the Citadel, which I just showed, it dropped over 0.5% or 50% of that Yamato's health. Again, just waiting for it to reload, you'll see me take off the next charge, get the kill on that Yamato as it hits the center mass. So again, I definitely like battleships. Yamato's not the only one I play. Showing cruiser here. Cruisers are good. They have a decent amount of torpedo usage, not as much often as destroyers. Although there is a particular destroyer I use, one of my favorites that doesn't fire torpedoes as often. It's got a really high rate of shell cannon fire. But cruisers are really good for destroying destroyers if you can keep up with them. The cruisers have a better chance of keeping up with destroyers than battleships do. Cruisers' rate of fire somewhat keeps up with them as well. It's kind of like a paper, rock, scissors. Cruisers are good against destroyers. Destroyers are fast and nimble and have torpedoes quite often. They can be good at doing surprise attacks against battleships. Battleships, of course, are heavy and heavy destructive and hard to kill as a cruiser, but a battleship can hit a cruiser and destroy a cruiser pretty easily. So that's the paper, rock, scissors. The miscellaneous would be the carriers. So we're moving on to another game I also play. This is new to me. I just barely got this game within the last month. War Thunder, similar to World of Warships as well as World of Tanks, which I've played in the past. Both made by Wargaming. War Thunder is actually made by Gaijin Gaming, and War Thunder includes all three war vehicles in one game. So you can choose to play airplanes, you can choose to play ground tanks, you can choose to play sea vessels, navy vessels. In fact, there's a fourth one class. You can choose to play the speedboats as well, which is basically the navy fast boats. Playing any of those three, you're in one game with other people playing any of those three. So as an air unit, you could be attacking ground units as well. You can also be attacking sea units. It depends on how the games are set up, but you don't have to switch games to play or change the different vehicles. So I do like aircraft. I've always found it hard to find a good fighting simulator aircraft game that I can get into, and I think I might have found one I like. And it doesn't have to only be aircraft. I also play a little bit of tanks. Haven't really gotten into the Navy yet on this game. If I want a good Navy battle, just go to World of Warships. I've got a pretty good account with World of Warships, as you just noticed. I'm demonstrating a few there. So I've got 3 years plus of development Warship versus pretty much nothing on War Thunder from my Navy. So I just like the air units and tanks so far. I might even check War Thunder. Yes, over here I'm just showing that on fire. Again, I've said it before, I don't show all my good plays. I try to show good plays, but sometimes I've got bad plays as well. Sometimes I show my bad plays, hoping that somebody can give me advice. Try to learn from it, but I'm new to this game right now. It just takes a lot of effort to learning. So I'm working my way through all of the chaos. You typically have to find a way to keep track of the target you're following, but it does have a lock target feature where if you hold the left trigger, this by the way is our Xbox, I'm playing the Xbox PC version. They make the PC version accessible on Xbox, which is kind of weird to explain unless you play it and you understand. But playing on the Xbox, you hold the left trigger and that's how you follow the target that you're locked in on. So just demonstrating a little bit of all my playthrough at the moment, showing you all the planes and the research of the tanks I've gotten. So those are the planes and the tanks I have accessible. As you can see, I'm just barely new to it, so I haven't played. I've just barely played less than a month worth. I just found the game probably mid-July or mid-August. One of my favorite planes right now is that Gale F3F. It is a premium class plane. Going on to the tanks, part of my yelling, it's not me yelling, it's the game itself. So it's changing scenes there. And the game itself, War Thunder calls out your communicative call signs depending on what you're doing for you. So it's like your crew is talking to you. So that's what that was. My tank commander was yelling at me about a particular target, which I helped destroy. I didn't get to destroy that ally of mine who was blue. I actually got that kill, but I had the assist in it. So in the tank version of this, it's a little bit more complicated than the air units. You're on ground and you're able to move around like that. That doesn't happen very often. Park hour in a tank. Yeah, right. Now you move around, you have to try to keep your gun aimed compared to the plane units. Your guns are typically aimed always at the front of you. In the tank, you move around and you look around in different, so it takes different control of different joysticks. Left joystick controls the tank movement, right joystick controls the gun movement. So it's hard to keep track of what you're doing at times. But here at this time, I try to get in close, get this kill. I don't even think he knew I was there until it was too late. Yeah, and that's what happens when you hold the fire down for too long. I did get that kill though. Now I'm going to a slightly larger tank I have. I don't even know any of these tank names, honestly. But it's got the same controls for the weapons and stuff. Its maneuvers slightly slower. It's a heavier tank. It survives longer. But it's actually the same class tank, small or medium, that the other tank I had was. So as I get this last kill and fades out, all I was showing you, War Thunder. It is a fun game, but it does take one of those, you don't have to pay, but it helps to if you pay into it. Conkers BFD is a game I've been playing for quite a while, played this in my youth.
Caution, discretion advised for mature audiences only. This game material, contents, and playthrough material included is not for audiences under 17 years. The easily offended, those who may be immature, unable to handle disturbing images, or unable to handle vulgar language, unable to handle rude, disruptive, or irresponsible suggestions. Those who are easily persuaded, influenced, or insulted by anything listed here are hereby warned you shall not proceed. Again, this is a warning. Again, this is humor only, so with that out of the way, let's be honest, we all play disruptive games at some time in our lives. This one is no different. But I will not be responsible for anyone proceeding forward. I played this game in my youth, and it has lots of suggestive humor, oddly entertaining content, which I myself find myself laughing endlessly. My own voiceover during the gameplay may go along with the game, so please do not be offended for anything I say. Have fun and enjoy.
Could Von Cripplespec sink the SHC ship? Or, with the Squirrel attack force, break through and thwart him?
So if you're familiar with my channel, if you've been here from the past and watched a couple of videos that I've presented of Conkers BFD, it was the actual chapter story mode of Conker and his BFD. Definitely check those videos out. I will continue that storyline in future videos. This particular is Chapter X, which is like a single player style playing multiplayer battlefields, just another way of playing the game. And it's got its own story that you have to accomplish each mission in the map that was designed. So this match is the beachfront. After this goes to the castle map, and then after that goes to Castle Weinstein and continues on. There's like 8 or 10 different maps for multiplayer mode, and you can play them individually multiplayer and create your own settings, or you could go to Chapter X, play it however Chapter X designed it, can't change anything. So that's what's being demonstrated here. You have a time limit. I had to accomplish this mission within 10 minutes. See, I'm down to 6. Close quarter combat right now is Long Ranger. In this game, there's 6 classification units you can choose. Long Ranger is the one I've currently used. He's got the long range weapon as well as close quarter revolvers. Pretty much protecting himself. The guy he's fighting is the Grunt. The Grunt has a machine gun, which has different classification modes. I also choose the grenade launcher, which is explosive, short range. The other classifications you'll see here demonstrate the heavy berserker, not berserker, but just demolisher, which has a berserk mode. He smashes people or targets with the berserk mode. He also has a heavy bazooka and a heavy machine gun. And then another one I like is the sneaker, which will show here in a short bit on a new map. The sneaker has different objectives of getting around. This is here the berserker heavy demolisher. But the sneaker tries to get around undetected, tries to sneak in, tries to hack things, can build cloak tunnels or channel tunnels, which you'll see here shortly, warp tunnels, and then they can fight with blades, but you don't want to get into a big fight with blades. So the gate maker is what I was trying to figure out right now. That's the gate maker the sneaker develops. It sneaks from one to the other without being detected, and that's how you get around undetected. You can also cloak, and both sides have the option to cloak. The worst nemesis of the sneaker is the Demolisher, which you did just see, and here I am fighting the enemy Demolisher. So they kind of counter each other. The Demolisher's heavy weapons can bring the cloak, undo the cloak, and the blade, played right, can kill the Demolisher just like that. So I love Conkers Bad Fur Day, but that was just a quick showcase of them. Something similar to Conkers Bad Fur Day is Assassin's Creed. I just recently bought this as well in a package deal. I don't know a whole lot about Assassin's Creed. It was kind of weird to me at first, but as you get into it, you realize the current character scene is the current futuristic mode. He has to go back in time and explore the memories of one of his ancestors. And using those memories, he's trying to put together a puzzle and solve a mystery. So I'm not quite sure exactly all of that. I played only 2 or 3 chapters in beyond what I'm currently at. So again, he's just getting, this lady's supposed to be helping him getting out of this site where he's being studied. So I don't want to explain too much and spoil the story without actually having a proper playthrough. I will have future videos of this game, including all this that you're seeing in a proper playthrough for anybody who wants to follow along with Assassin's Creed 2. I like the game because there's a lot of park hour and a lot of climbing buildings and stuff like that you'll see once it gets to the next part of the glimpse. After I finish off these last few. So there's different ways of fighting, obviously hand-to-hand combat. Eventually you'll learn weapons, you can get weapons. I'm hoping eventually I'll find a crossbow or a bow and arrow of some sort. The only weapons I've noticed are blades. Here, this is the ancestor of him that you play as well. You go into ancient Italian time frame. You're playing as this guy, Auditory, something Auditory. I can't pronounce his name. He is Italian. So part of the story is he's trying to figure out how to follow his dad's footsteps, and this other gang challenges him and gets in trouble. So you learn how to do missions. You get in gang fights. You can beat up other boyfriends for women, cheat, and stuff like that. There's a lot of suggestive humor, suggestive behavior you can take for how you want.
Your sister seemed quite satisfied with the handling I gave her earlier.
As the joke my character just made was quite suggestive. So as he moves on, you'll see what I'm talking about. Besides the gang fight, you can run errands, deliver packages, find lookout towers, climb buildings, beat up bad ex-boyfriends, and get hired by, the ex-wives or whatever. He's racing his brother now.
Come on,
his brother's challenging him to a race on the rooftop, so that's part of your objective. You have to get past him, get to the final objective. It's pretty much an open story of the Assassin's Creed 2
Come
in
on,
Italy.
man. This way. Where are you going? You'll see.
Every time you accept a new mission, the screen goes white. It's as if your futuristic player is accessing a memory of the past player. Again, it was really weird. I thought it was weird. As long as it stays in Italy most of the game, I so far enjoyed this game. One of the things that was kind of weird is when you get up on these rooftops, you can jump off the rooftops as long as you land in hay, it doesn't hurt you, which kind of sounds weird, but
keep looking.
It's part of the game. So you can hide in the hay, they can't see me. Those guys hate me, they're looking for me, but they can't see me, they don't know I'm in the hay. So you'll see is after they walk away, I'll get out of the hay. It's just one of the ways that you can hide. It shows here in a moment different ways of hiding, different status levels. So as it shows there, you can hide in haystacks, wells, and rooftop hutches and stuff like that. You can use any objects in the map. It's pretty much open world. Oh, sorry about that. Guess I don't know where I'm going. No, actually I was kind of new at the game during that moment, so I was still learning the controls. But yeah, here's the suggestive behavior I was mentioning. Again, it's just part of the story. He's with this girl, the dad catches him, he has to flee. It's demonstrating how he's got a hated status and he's got to flee from guards. So what better way to demonstrate hated status than running from the father of the girl you were with? Yeah, again, it's suggestive. It reminded me a lot of GTA. GTA fans out there think of this as like GTA of the Renaissance. A lot of open world, free to accept any missions, free to go where you want, free to fight who you want, attack who you want, etc., etc. And then when you're in hot status, it gives you ways of escaping, and pretty much a lot similar to GTA, as I mentioned. So as I'm demonstrating, as I'm coming out of this building, this is one of the central buildings in the town I'm in Italy, and it's a giant citadel type. I don't know. The structure's huge, and it took me forever to figure out how to get in there. As I'm getting off the building, you'll see an easy way of getting in. So if you're ever trying to get into that, go to the building next to it and jump off of that. Not to reveal anything, but that's kind of how you do it. When you're on this building or any high building, don't fall unless you have something to catch onto. There is a way of catching onto something without falling if you're able to, but I don't advise it. As I jump off, I'll end my quick playthrough on this game. Going on to the next game, the fifth and final game that I enjoy playing, even current, is Railway Empire 2. It's another game I just recently bought. Railway Empire 2 is just a construction building game. You build railroads, connect cities together, try to deliver goods. In the game, it'll show you what goods are needed where. Demonstrated there, blue yarn is blue wool. The wool is needed to make fabric, which is in Atlanta, so that's kind of a demonstration. You get one product to another city, that city makes a different product, get that product to a different city, yada yada yada. You can also transport passengers as well as mail, and then through all that transport, you're making money. You're spending money on railroads, spend more money on how you're going to fight against your adversaries, etc. There's a lot of railroad building, but it's not all railroad building. It's city management, financial management, economics. There's a lot of economics, education in here. There's a lot of education about history of railroads. The first of the game starts in 1830. You can start anytime after that, all the way to 1900, I believe. And so that's just demonstrating now. After the railroad is built, I'm putting the route in for, I think, people or mail, probably mixed. You can have trains that do mixed as well. I have my own way of certain trains will be mixed between local cities back and forth, and then passenger express go long distance, etc. So you kind of develop your own. What I also like about this game is besides all the railroad building and the economic building and the banter back and forth with your adversaries, you can also ride your trains, which I'm showing here. You jump in the train ride mode, you sit behind the locomotive. It's kind of weird, it's as if the camera's running alongside the train if you're moving back and forth. But besides that, when you go inside the passenger cars, it's not synced up properly. You're again on the outside of the passenger car and the later cars. So it definitely has some kinks to work out, but I don't let that bother me. I do play this game a lot. I spend hours on it, usually at nighttime before I fall asleep in my recliner. But I do definitely love this game. I grew up loving railroads a lot, so what better way to explore railroads than build your own railroads and ride your own trains? With a little education of money and economics. It's got a lot of historical facts about railroads. It doesn't necessarily stick to historical facts, because you can change up the history anytime, any way you want, but it shows you factual information along the way. So as it coming across the rails, you enjoy the scenery, look across the scene, see the mountains, see the forest. It is in a 2x or 4x speed, so a lot of the blurs, just because of the graphics, is not catching up to it fast enough when it's speeding through it. As I change to another railroad that I'm currently building, or finished building, but building currently in this video cutscene, it is 4x speed because it took a long time to build that stretch of railroad. I jumped and skipped many cities to try to accomplish a goal of reaching or connecting Buffalo to Big, what was it called? Big Buff, I think it's called. Just to the right there. I was just about to catch it. Anyway, in the gameplay at the time when I was playing it, I wanted to get to Buffalo as quickly as possible before an opponent could, so I went across multiple cities without even stopping at any of these cities so I could get the connection bonus. So that's kind of why it took a long time, and that's why I was speeding through all this production. As you're seeing, I'm trying to eliminate bridges. Bridges and the tunnels are expensive. Tunnels are pink, bridges are blue. And eventually I'm getting to Big Luck, that's what it was called. I knew it would come to me, I just had to get past it, so I didn't stutter on it. But Big Luck is the one that I was trying to get to, and I looked it up, and I believe there is a town, Big Luck. Yeah. No, Big Lick, actually. There's 4 different towns of Big Lick. I couldn't believe it. I thought that was the weirdest name for Big Lick. If anybody here is from the East Coast and familiar with Big Lick, tell me which Big Lick this is in the map. But it's somewhere towards the middle East Coast. It's farther east of Knoxville, I believe. I have Knoxville on my map as well. But Big Lick to Augusta here. It's actually first going to go to Buffalo and then come back down and go to Augusta. I ended up changing that. I just stuck between Big Lick and Buffalo. Only those two, because it was such a long trip. But I do have this playthrough. I'm going, I have 4 speed as well, all the way to Buffalo. That's why it looks like it's hauling butt really fast. There's a lot of suggestive humor as well. Some of the routes you can develop, you can put products together and develop or deliver liquor, as well as you can put other products together and deliver brews. So suggestive humor. You don't do anything drinking it, you don't even handle it in the game. You simply bring products together for the city to load up the new product, and then you take off with that, or set up multiple routes to deliver however you choose. That's the great thing about this game. You play however you want to play. You guys will play however you choose. You'll come up with your own styles. But as I mentioned, this long train going all the way to Buffalo is passing Parkersburg, I believe, off to the side there. Eventually here in these woods it'll pass Pittsburgh before it gets to Buffalo. So I definitely want to check out this game. I hope they make a lot of improvements though. Warehouse improvements and other such. The visual effects when you're riding the train can use improvements. But the scenery is great. It just looks blurry because it's a high-speed road right now. I have it at 4x. So don't let the scenery baffle you there. But as I do approach Buffalo here shortly, this will bring close to an end for this video. Demonstrate 5 games. As I mentioned at the beginning, World of Warships I play a lot. War Thunder is a new one I've been playing. You can fly in air and ground. as well as C. Also playing Conkers BFD, a long-time classic in 64, if I didn't mention that prior, with multiple ways of playing on Conkers BFD. Assassin's Creed 2 is new to me. I've got multiple Assassin's Creed, but I'm only focusing on AC2 at the moment, which I call AC2 for short. And then, of course, this one, as seen here. Also, something about the railroad here is you get your own research tree. You research through from the 1830s all the way beyond the 1900s and come up with the best technology trains. So there's all kinds of trains that you can evolve in. It's not just the old classic trains. You get later new technology eventually. Newer technology will open up products to deliver. Newer technology open up ways of making money. Newer technology open up different cars and stuff like that. So as it does approach Buffalo, as it's approaching the gridiron here in about a few seconds, I do want to thank you all for joining me today. Any moment now it'll approach Buffalo. And there it is. Again, I thank you all for joining me. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Stick around with my channel. I'll be demonstrating those games as well as others that I've been playing or will be playing. More Assassin's Creed will follow. More to this Conkers BFD, the story, as well as Chapter X will follow, possibly multiplayers as well. So please check out my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you have. Thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Jesus, for your mercy and grace upon my life. I pray all those who see this reach out to you one day. Thank you to the game developers of these games and more for the products you make. Keep up the good work. Last but certainly not least, thank you to all my fans, friends, and followers for stepping in, sticking around, and checking out these games with me. God bless.